Good afternoon. We are going to start the ninth session of this meeting, which are made of 5 lectures. I have here in the table the lecturers that we are going to introduce. Antonio García Bellot, that is going to speak about municipal gardens from the Vetera City Council. Then Jacobo Llorens is going to speak about the trees in the towns and cities. Then Josefina García León, she will talk about paleontopography through the study of geotechnical elements, and then Esperanza García Ortiz, she's going to speak about the gvSIG in order to create the dinosaurs, the sites of lignite, and she belongs to the University of León. And finally, we'll have José Ramón Rodríguez Pérez, who is going to speak about the bank of Bierzo land, and he belongs to the group of research in geomatics of the University of León. So we are going to speak about the first lecture with the inventory of municipal gardens. Good afternoon. As mentioned, I'm Antonio García. I'm an engineering of the Vetera municipality. I'm going to speak about the inventory of municipal gardens that we have been doing during this year. I'll tell you about the reasons for that and the objectives, the index of the lecture. I'm going to mention the objectives of the project and the way in which data were captured and were loaded in the geographical information system, the generation of a profile or a file of data for each plant or tree, and then the addition in the field and consultations to the system. As mentioned, the project is still under development. A couple of years ago, there was a public bid which was called for the maintenance of municipal gardens. So we had a few doubts. How many public parks do we have? We have no documents which are organized. We have many folders in the different places. We have different gardens, but that was not organized, and we had to capture data and check the information, whether that was on paper, on PDF, on AutoCAD, or nothing. We didn't even know how many public parks we did had. There was a lot of information, but highly dispersed. How many square meters of natural grass within each park? We should find out how many missing trees. We see many places where we have trees, but we also have empty places, and we should know how to make an inventory so that we do not have empty tree surrounds. And they were measuring with a meter. They were trying to measure how many meters of the different species, how many species of the species of trees do we have. there is now a plague of pine trees, and in less than a month they die. There is a small insect, which is the Tomicus, and they get into a tree. You will see that in the highways when you go close to forestry areas, and we do not know how many do we have or where they are. There are gardens, there are parks, but are they pines? What are they? So we are looking for the solutions, the advantages and disadvantages of each species, and we have. There is an area in which they have decided to plant some trees, and theoretically those species were not dangerous for the soil, but now the pavement has been raised and destroyed. So we have to see which are the advantages and disadvantages, the justification of the project, determining the previous question. And the maintenance for public gardens is about 1 million euros in a municipality like Vetera, which is 75 square kilometers. And who decided that figure without knowing which is the quantity and the species that we have? So in order to be able to present an offer, you need to know that. So in the end, as I was informed, then what they have done is to engage to hire personnel, and then but we have to do that more technically, and know that we are covering everything, because if not, it's impossible. The maintenance of municipal gardens is something that has to be done. And when you design a garden, if a plant dies, then you have that inventored, and if it's modified, then you come with the tablet or any other element, and then you will be able to see if the inventory matches. So the objectives of the project, doing an inventory of all the municipal gardens and the species, making the information accessible through the SIG from Vetera with a multi-user web display, preparing specifications per species, and the possibility of making consultations with filters per species zone or any other parameters, and the possibility of edition through web, tablet or mobile phones. The capture of data, of course, we have plans or drawings in paper, and that calls gardening. That's the name. So this is the plan that we have. There is no other information. We should go to the place and do an inventory of how many square meters of grass do we have, and the plan is doing this, but we have to reference it and digitalize it. The field drawings. We have a technical engineer, and she went to the field, and for me, provided that this is more or less correct, doesn't matter whether accuracy is less than 1 meter or more than 1 meter. So she was capturing, and she was classifying the species, putting them a number, and after that was mixing that with the ortho photo. Here we have the delimitation of a park. Is not providing much information, and here we have an AutoCAD file which has been done after the croquis. Perhaps we had an AutoCAD small file, but not highly detailed. Even the project could not match the reality. Then we have classic topography, because we did not do a lot because we do not need much precision. If we have a small forest of about 200 pines, then if you look at them just at a new height, then you can see that there must be between 170 and 230 pines. We have designed this in AutoCAD, and now we are going to transform it, and here we will have precise information. The load and addition of data. Usually AutoCAD software is used or gvSIG with GIS. We assign each element all the attributes and the type of plant, the species of the tree or the plant, and with the surface. Then we say whether this is a surface of grass or other types of grass. And the SIG from Betera, the SIG from Betera is characterized and is linked to a file. Here we will see the files that have been generated per each species. So this is everything related and housed and stored. And it is much easier if we have every information in one single system. Generation of files based on the following links. We can establish the type of plant and the features of same. We have different species. 120 were characterized, and there are about 60, and we have to have the different features. These are pages from the Polytechnic University of Valencia. An agronomist was cooperating with this project, and here we were seeing the advantages and disadvantages. Here we have the different features, and this is a file. We have the common name, the Latin name, the Valencian name, the geology, edafology, and all data which may be important, and also advantages and disadvantages when planting those plants, whether they are poisonous, if they have aggressive roots, well, all the features which are important for us when designing a park. We classify these species and we try them not to be aggressive, or if this is a park in which we're going to have children, we should not have any poisonous plants. So here we have the different files. There are 120 of them, and we want to do the importance either from a PC or gvSIG, but in gvSIG we know that this cannot be connected through the internet, and you have to add the pictures. If this is done with gvSIG, then you should load the new park, and then you can add post-its. And this happens with the tablet and the mobile phone. You see the inventory of gardens in the GeoPortal through a tablet or a PC. Here we see all these gardens which are perfectly inventoried. They have different icons, and in the legend we can see the icons and the scientific name of the plant. When we tick on one of these species, then we will go out of the hyperlink and we will be able to add attributes or add documents or whatever. The mobile area is under development, but we're going to see how this is going to work. This is the same system. we are doubling the services, but not the platforms. It's the same SIG, the same platform, but we are just adding a window and removes all the menus and loads the menus for mobile phones, changing the buttons and so on. At present, the GPS is already working. Here we have a window that prompts out and tells you the speed and the features. The other buttons are already configured, but if I if I put a search, the window for search that I have in the other inventory is too large. I'm just working with this project for 1.5 months, so I couldn't devote a lot of time to the development of this utility. But if you can edit through the mobile phone, coverage is complete, and there are very, very few connection cuts. So the objective for next year is to provide functionality to mobile phones, smartphones or tablets. Then we have the addition in the field. And then we will see if we are in the field. We see the window here. Then I add insert a point. As far as I am the administrator, then I say I have to download a point. This is a very simple table where we have unfolding elements, and I can select the type of plant. If I do not know the type of plant, then in the office I'll be able to introduce in the list this missing species. This has been done for streets. When you see a street which is not inventored, then I see if there is one tree hole without a tree which is missing, then I can load it here. But if I have to do that for 500 trees, I'll do that in my office. So here we have the PDF of that species that says that it has been attached to that point, and then if we click here, we have all the information and who has loaded it, the date, and the document. If we are clicking on the attachment, then we have the file, the complete file. Here, if we want to inventor a street, then the address can be taken from the cadastre. If we want to specify some parameters on the parcel, if we have image oblique, this is the park that we are going to design. Then we have a street view and we see the species of the tree, so we don't have to go to the field, and in the office we can classify this with the small booklets we have prepared. Once this has been done, we can do many consultations, which are the ones that we usually receive, simple consultations through the geoportal, through mobile devices. Some people want to know which is the species that we have in front of us, which is the treatment required. It's not necessary to do that for each point, but that requires such a treatment, so we could generate alerts, and then we can see how do we know how many pans there are, and this is for a specific place, whether this is updated to soil type and a specific soil type, which is the water consumption that it requires, how many trees or plants do we have from the same species, and then we can do the consultation, and then we will have a map popping out. And then we put here Pinus. We know that is Latin, and immediately they say that is 806 pines, and then we know where the pines are. So then we can send the brigade to see if they are affected. Um, and the most complex questions come from the gvSIG. How many plants or trees of the same species, because they want something else. Then you can have tables saying you have 806 trees, for instance, and then we would know how many trees we have in each park, and that's done with gvSIG, which is the treatment, and we would add the fields for treatment, and you could store whether they all have received the treatment, when the treatment is going to be repeated, in this case next year. And the empty holes, 3 holes, and then if we have the type of plants, then it could tell when are they empty. And there is a long list both for the assessment of the hydric volume and water volume and all other things. We know in light blue we have these species, and here we have the elements which have been selected, and then there are complex calculations. So these are approx about 200 species, and we have 7,476 plants and trees, and 35% of the gardens have to be inventored. Once the inventory is finished, maintenance is very easy, and usually we do not change the species in the gardens, and taking into account the consultation, and as far as the amount per year of the budget devoted to this is 1 million euros. I think it's a reason to do this, because then perhaps people think that instead of 10 they should do 15, or the other way around. So usually they want to do the contracts as accurate as possible, and in the load of this information that was done in a unique place, we do not have such a quantity of documents, which is the information is not dispersed anymore, but we have it is easier for us to look for the information. The information that we were finding was on paper, a hard copy, and if it's posted in gvSIG, that helps a lot for the consultation. If we do this accessible to the mobile phones, then that's an asset for the municipality, because the people at the stands know the species and knows the future of each one of the species. I would like to thank the company Dryade of Gardening and Environment that has contributed with the staff, with the personnel, the agronomist that came due to a grant from the provincial authorities, and that's all. Thank you very much.